This company is trying to get investments to colonize bubble tea. And I'm gonna tell you all of their cultural appropriation tactics that everyone is just missing. Skip ahead if you need to, but the whole story is really messed up. And you should know about the racist details that is just sprinkled throughout their entire business model. Simu Liu is obviously against this, and so is any Asian person with a brain. He basically calls the company out for appropriating bubble tea, which is a Taiwanese drink in case you didn't know. So this company, Bobba with an extra B, is trying to leverage racist Asian stereotypes, basically saying that Asian foods are dirty, unhealthy, and have weird ingredients. Listen to this clip.
Trendy sugary drink you are queued up for, and you are never quite sure about its content.
Those days are over with boba.
Hang on. I'm quite sure about its content.
So am I.
Continue.
There is no weird ingredients in bubble tea, okay? There is just tea, water, milk, syrup, and tapioca starch. Everyone that drinks it already knows this. So because bubble tea is apparently made with secret ingredients, their mission is to provide the world with a healthier alternative. And their number one way of doing this, stated both in their pitch and on their website, is to just use less sugar. But you can already do that at all of the stores. And if you really wanted to, you can even choose to add no sugar at all. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel like these two boba tea innovators have never been to a boba store. And the worst part is this guy is straight up lying, saying they invented popping boba. He even goes on saying this.
But it's not an ethnical product anymore. Not with the popping bobas. So we took the version, the Asian version, and we made it with the fruit, with juice.
These guys really just said, nah, bubble tea is not about culture anymore. Forget about Taiwan, forget about Asia. And why is it no longer ethnic? Because they invented popping boba. Look at Simu's face right here. That's what I'm feeling. You can immediately find proof that they're lying with some basic Googling. There was actually a patent made for popping boba in China back in 2015. And if you ask ChatGPT, they said popping boba is invented in Taiwan back in the early 2000s. So the origins of this invention is a little murky. But that's not the point, okay? The point is that they did not invent popping boba. From personal experience, I've known about it since forever, and it's definitely not from these two. He even stumbles a bit here and even admits that popping boba was only something that they heard about, and then later decide to capitalize on.
What made you guys get into this business?
I was like looking at the data about bubble tea, and the popping boba was just rising everywhere in the world. So I was like, I need to come out with something. It was a crazy success since day one.
Like, where's the logic from first going from popping boba is new and is what makes them different, to looking at bubble tea data and then finding out popping boba was already a rising trend. First saying it's their own unique thing, and then later admitting it was something that already existed. What? Right here he tries to say they took the Asian version and changed it. But what did they even change? Using less sugar is not new. Popping boba is not new. And the alcohol? That is also not new. The only thing that is new and innovative here is claiming that boba is no longer an ethnic product anymore. And they do that by trying to say the Asian version is the bad version. These guys are out of their mind. And everyone on the show was also very dismissive of Simu's concerns of cultural appropriation.
I'm concerned about this idea of disrupting or disturbing bubble tea because it's something that's
Why?
very
They're
near.
giving new takes on things.
She's missing the
Sure,
point.
but I'm looking at
Not
I'm
everything has
looking
to
at
be
these two guys.
traditional.
No, but then there's also an issue of cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
There's an issue of taking something that's very distinctly Asian in its identity and quote unquote making it better, which I have an issue with.
Everything that Simu is saying is just whoosh going over this girl's head. Simu does not have a problem with bubble tea being not traditional, because bubble tea has always been evolving from back then looking like this to nowadays where it's really common to see cheese foam, big lemons, and multiple toppings, even Kit Kat. Simu's only concern is that these guys are not giving any respect, credit, or anything at all back to the community or culture of bubble tea.
I am studying your can, and I am looking for anything that tells me where boba came from. And where boba came from is Taiwan.
He specifically says that.
You know, I started this venture company for a lot of reasons, but really primarily to uplift minority entrepreneurs. And not only do I feel like this is not happening here, but that I would be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural
He
heritage.
got a lot of hate for saying that.
I want to be a part of bringing boba to the masses, but not like this. So for that reason, I'm out.
Look at how ridiculous this top comment is here. You don't need to be from Taiwan to call out inappropriate behavior towards their culture. Because with that logic, am I supposed to stay quiet when I see a racist call a black person the N-word? I don't think so. Also, bubble tea has been loved and embraced by so many people in Asia for so many years now. It's ingrained into their daily lives. And in recent years, it's been going beyond Asia. Like, do you remember subtle Asian traits and the initial craze around boba? It's okay for Asians like us who are not from Taiwan to voice our concerns. And that's especially true for Asians like us who grew up in places like North America, Europe, and Australia. Because for the most part, a lot of our struggles growing up were really similar. And we can definitely tell what people like this are trying to do. And when I say people like this, I'm not talking about non-Asians, okay? I'm talking about people who are disrespectful towards minorities and brush off our concerns as nothing. Don't try to skew our words as if we're trying to say non-Asians can't make Asian things. They bring him onto the show for the unique perspective that I just mentioned, but none of the other investors even care about his opinion.
But I want to hear the pitch before I formulate an opinion. And
Boy,
so
that's one way to start.
One way to start, a little heavy there.
Don't normalize this. Manjit later makes like this apology video saying she'll no longer invest in the company. But honestly, I feel like her heart wasn't in it and she was reading straight off of some slides. The company's pitch, Instagram page, and their website is intentionally, okay? Intentionally stripping away bubble tea's culture and community. A lot of people seem to miss this very crucial part of their pitch when they were asked if they manufacture these products themselves. And when specifically asked where the partners are, this guy just said, Quebec.
And do you manufacture this yourself?
No, so we have 3 partners, but they are exclusive partners. So they only make my bubble tea
Where?
in Quebec.
He doesn't say Taiwan. Simu starts to get very concerned about this entire business, and then he explicitly asks them if there was anything Asian at all involved in their business.
what respect is being paid to this very Asian drink that is blown up around the world? And is it in your teas? Is it in your product development? Who is on your staff? Who's on your cap table that is allowing that for
It's
you?
a good question because our best partner is in Taiwan, actually.
They finally mentioned Taiwan.
So they make all the recipe, all the boba. We work really hard. We travel to Taiwan. We speak with them. They are part of our team. It's really important for us. So that's the best part. That's the cultural part of our product.
Look at Simu's reaction. He knows that these guys are just saying that to make it seem like they chose Taiwan on purpose for the cultural aspect of their brand. Let me tell you right now, those guys don't care about the cultural aspect, okay? It was just convenient for them to say that because Simu was getting on their throats. It just happens that a Taiwanese drink is being made in a manufacturer in Taiwan. Makes sense, right? If this company could have done it in Quebec, they would have. They're not proud of their Taiwanese partners at all. And I'm not being dramatic when I say that, because if you take a look at their Instagram page, there is nothing about their Taiwanese partners. If your best partner is in Taiwan and they are so important to your team, then why is there no pictures of these very important members of your team? Why are you hiding them? There is no Asian representation here in this brand that is revolved around an Asian drink. Look at these models here. They're not Asian. And the craziest part is this diversity photo for an Asian drink. There is no Asian person. How is that not on purpose? And for the nitpickers out there, there is one singular photo of an Asian girl. But that's only one photo out of 281 poses. That's ridiculous. And the Dragon's Den photo doesn't count because these are entrepreneurs from a totally different brand. It has nothing to do with their brand. They just happen to be on the same show. And their tactics of excluding Asian people is very apparent, especially when you look at other boba companies like Chatime. Look at all the Asian people. I fit right into this frame right here. And there's actual real diversity. It's not only about the East Asians. So I don't want to hear about no haters saying we're gatekeeping bubble tea. Anyone can enjoy it. Bill Gates says Gongcha is the best, and I agree. And then Simu liked it. And I'm not done with their Instagram yet, because if you take a look at the people that they follow, guess what? The trend continues. There is no Asian people or Asian brands. And if you're nitpicking, out of the 652 people that they follow, there is only less than 10 accounts that are Asian. And I'm being very generous with the number 10 because I wanted some room for miscounts. Like, I'm being so desperate to increase that number that I even included these 2 Asian brands. This matcha company is trying to make a better version of matcha. I didn't really look deep into it, so give them some slack. And then this soft drink company is using the Buddha as their logo. Their drink has nothing to do with Asians or the religion. They're just slapping my religion's face onto their logo. That's not okay. That's messed up. And you can't convince me that they're not purposely neglecting the Asian community because they remember to post about Easter and also St. Patrick's Day. But ever since their first post back in 2021, they never once celebrated any kind of Asian holidays, like not even Chinese New Year and the Mid-Autumn Festival. And if you look at other boba companies, they celebrate Asian holidays and give special promotions. For Chinese New Year, they have special products like red envelopes. And for the Mid-Autumn Festival, there was mooncakes. And there is also celebration for non-Asian holidays, like Christmas. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't expect them to make an entire new product to celebrate the holidays, but like not even a happy Chinese New Year post is concerning. And the only other Asian thing in their entire Instagram page is these random sushi posts. But it's just a business collaboration and sushi in Taiwan. Remember when Simu called them out for not giving any credit on their drinks? Like, I guess you could argue that there was not enough room on their cans or their packaging to give any credit or history behind the drink. But then you take a look at their entire website, right? There is still no credit or history given about the creation of bubble tea. Nothing. You can't find anything on this about page or even the bubble tea page. They only mention Taiwan as their supplier and business partner. It's kind of dehumanizing. They purposely never give any cultural credits, and if you know nothing about bubble tea and you read this entire website, you'll just think that Taiwan is just some production factory. And then you will be misguided to believe that boba with an extra B is the one that created this drink. Look at how carefully crafted this sentence is. They mention the research on the product and its origin, but then they never explicitly say where it's from, and then immediately calls Taiwan a supplier. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the wrong spelling for the pinyin zhenju, which means tapioca pearls in Chinese. So obviously they had to apologize for this controversy, but they were just straight up gaslighting everyone. They tried to backtrack and said they were not criticizing the traditional bubble teas that you find in store, but rather they were comparing their drinks to other ready-to-drink products that you find in big box stores. But if you look back at the video where they said you don't know about the ingredients, they were talking about the sugary drinks that you were queuing up for. No one is queuing up for those ready-to-go boba teas at grocery stores. So we know you're talking about the traditional ones where you get at like Chat Time and Coco's. But even if we assume you are talking about the ready-to-go versions, it still doesn't make sense. Because the very next thing you say is that your product is more convenient. How is your canned boba more convenient than other canned bobas? How do you have the audacity to say that it was never your intention to cause harm or disrespect to the community? The disrespect and harm is very much intentional. And don't even try to pretend like it was a language barrier. Refusing to have any kind of Asian representation on your Instagram page that is dedicated to an Asian drink is not a language barrier. Making no effort at all to follow other Asian creators and Asian brands to get a better understanding and involvement of the community is also not a language barrier. Not mentioning any heritage or culture regarding boba both in your website and on your socials is not a language barrier. You could have even wrote it in French, but you didn't. It's not that you have to give credit to a culture before getting involved in it. The problem is that this company is actively trying to hide and wipe boba of its identity. Your entire marketing plan is straight up modern day colonization and appropriation. You are intentionally taking away everything that is Asian about this drink and saying you are the solution. That is messed up. Death threats are also really messed up, so let's not do that, okay?